Welcome, everyone. The end of another crazy week in the financial world, where things don't seem to be acting very logically. The 2-year U.S. yield, the lowest ever, 0.123. The 10-year rate, 0.64, 0.66, something in that range. Quite a spread there. Very low. Rates are low. We know that. The Fed's just printed off about $3 or $3.5 trillion that's now sloshing around the world. What does that mean? Well, it means different things, but a lot of that money is going to end up back in the major liquidity pools that eventually end up in the market. So I guess now the Nasdaq is actually up on the year. So just keep in mind what's happened. We've had a shutdown in the world in terms of economy, and now the Fed's printed all this money. Rates are extremely low. The Dow is up 400 and some points today. And if you look at what's going on, and we'll look at some charts a little later, yeah, the money goes out to some people. Somebody gets a check for $1,000 or $2,000. He can't hang on to it. He's got to spend it. Where does it end up? It ends up in somebody's big liquidity pool, money pool. Where does that end up? It ends up in Amazon or, the 5 biggest stocks, I think, they were talking about were up between 4 and 6% each. And that would be companies like Netflix, Amazon, Microsoft, Alphabet, Apple. So those are the ones. Those are the 5 horsemen right now that are carrying the load. But let's look at some of the implications of what's going on. Somebody was talking about how real estate's gone very quiet in New York City. Well, that makes sense. A property that was up for $37 million a couple of months ago went for $25 million. Maybe it was $39 million it was up for. So, that's like saying I'm going to put up my house here in Toronto for $3.9 million, and you end up taking 2.5. That's a major haircut. Yeah, and the transactions are way down in some of these hotspots. Oil had another good week. Oil is $24, $25. We're about a week and a half away from the expiry of the June contract. Don't think we're going to see what we saw when the May contract ended. But one never knows. One never knows. But I get a sense that stocks are starting to get bids. There's a number of little ones that are micro caps that are for whatever reason people want these small companies, and they change the main asset, and it starts to move. I can give you a number of examples later when we look at some charts. One of the big things that happened was the jobs report. They were expecting a loss of 22 million jobs in the month of April. They were pleasantly surprised. They only lost 20.5 million. Worst number since the 30s. So we're talking another one of these 85 years ago. So we're seeing a lot of things that smack of economic Armageddon. So first chart we're looking at here is a 3-month of the S&P 500, and this, we're now about you're getting close to 3 months away from where the all-time highs were, and then we had this 35% drop or 33% drop, and then sharp rebound, which looked like a V, but then we came out with some big earnings reports last week. Apple, Amazon, etc. And we come off, and then we crawl back, but it seems like it's taking longer to get back. So I'm still of the view that we're rounding out here, and be careful. Like this market is not cheap. It's not cheap, but you've got this unbelievable pool of liquidity. So, things look terrible. It doesn't make sense. Yet you've got all this money out there. And as long as there's liquidity, money, people want to speculate or use that liquidity. Processing plants are being idled. There's a lot of people involved with these things. There's a lot of animals. I'm sure some of the conditions aren't the most hygienic, but nonetheless, so what's benefiting from that? Well, remember the company Beyond Meat, and we got a 3-month chart up here, okay? And look at this move here. So here's the bottom. That's the bottom in the market. That coincides with the big bottom that we had in March 24th. And since March 24th, it's eclipsed now the high it was right in here, which is where the market's peaked. We're over here now. Now look at that move. That's from about $55 to $135. I'm looking for this market to roll over. I think it'd be a lot simpler just to buy some of these stocks because they're on fire. Just take a look at Tesla. Tesla's lots of stuff going on with Tesla. A year ago, you could have bought Tesla for $450. And then it had this crazy move, double topped sort of there around the 900, 950 level. Then, with the coronavirus, there we are back to 400. But and now look, back to $820. And this is after Elon Musk says on a Twitter that the stock's overvalued. Nobody gives a crap about traditional car makers as they do about, Tesla. Tesla's market cap is unbelievable, well over 100 billion. And Elon Musk has got an unbelievable payday coming. So there's some action. There's another one, company called Twilio, which is cloud-based, has a cloud-based platform. You could have picked this baby up at the bottom around $72. And here we are at 170, I think it closed today 173. This is when their earnings came out. And, guys were saying on television, you got to buy this stock. They're in the right space. I want to talk about what Warren Buffett for a minute. He had his annual meeting with shareholders, Berkshire Hathaway, and it was revealed that he divested himself of all his airline positions. He had 4 major positions where he owned about 10%. Imagine Berkshire Hathaway owned 10% of the 4 major airlines in the United States. Well, he divested himself totally and said he didn't think the airline industry, basically, he thought it was changed forever. Now, here is an 85-year-old icon, Warren Buffett, probably one of the most patient and successful investors of all time, if not the most, with a long-term view, even in his mid-80s. And, he's getting out of the airline industry. The point is, there's a lot of people that have been around saying that there's a substantial disconnect between, Main Street, which is the world that we live in, and Wall Street. Yeah, another week has gone by. Markets have had a great week, but as we know, trees don't grow to heaven. Can they keep moving higher? They can go a lot higher. There's a lot of smart people out there. So that's it for another week. We'll talk next week. Thanks for tuning in.